the most important thing right now for us to work on in this going forward, no more phase that we're in. I'm going to back that up a little bit. So a couple of years ago, I came in and talked about Shambhala, who we are, who you are, where we're at. I kind of defined it. I said it's not a very big group globally. There's approximately 100,000 humans that have read the materials, watched some of the webcasts on, once in a while basis. We keep bringing that down smaller and smaller, about 30,000 who watch on a regular basis. That's not many compared to the population of the world. And even of that, about 15,000 who are truly, absolutely dedicated to their realization in this lifetime. They're not going to let anything get in its way. That's really not a lot at all. Big enough for me. I would have been happy with just 5, but that's all it would take. So over the years, you've seen Crimson Circle kind of shift and change. The people come and go. Some of the truly dedicated staying, some leaving for a short period of time and then coming back. Because once in a while, you just have to get off in the woods on your own, so to speak, and use that time for going from being the student to the teacher. Coming here to get information and then coming back here at some point integrated with the information and now just joining in the celebration. We've taken some very interesting twists and turns the last couple years in particular, and very, very interesting, notable one recently. In particular, in some of the talks we've had in Kihak and here in the Shouds and Pronost. So what's going to happen for the next 3 to 5 years? We're going to kind of trying to find the right word with Caldera, not tighten up, not sequester, but we're going to become more, not focused, we're going to become more streamlined, perhaps is a way to say it. In these next 3 to 5 years, those who are kind of hanging on the periphery, those who are energy feeding, and you can all spot them a mile away, they're going to be going away. And blessings to them, they're going to go do something else. And this isn't a negative, but the intensity was too much for them. They had too many other issues or holding on to too many other things. So they parted ways, most of them in a nice way, and a lot of them will be back. The next 3 to 5 years, we're going to kind of isolate. And it's still not quite the right word, Caldera, but we're going to go within. That's a better word. We're going to go within over these next 3 to 5 years. A very important reason is because in this time, so many of you will finally allow your realization. You'll stop battling and fighting and carrying the garbage. You'll start to realize none of that matters. The old emotions and the old hypnosises, you're just going to let them go. In these next 3 to 5 years, Crimson Circle is not going to grow much. As a matter of fact, it may even get smaller, may contract. The numbers might go down, less Shambhala. But the ones who are here, really allowing their enlightenment, the ones who stay, really going deep within themselves for that integration with the Master. During that time, I think I referred to it as the popcorn popping. During that time, you're going to see it all around as Shambhala allow their realization. And they're not going to wear it on their scarf. They're not going to have to come and thump you on the head and say, oh, I'm a realized being. You just know it. And there's not going to be a jealousy, like, oh, why did they get it and I didn't? There's not going to be any sort of hierarchy in it. You just realize, oh, my dear, it happened. It happened. They allowed it. And if they allowed it, I certainly can as well. The next 3 to 5 years are going to be truly beautiful as this coming to realization, bringing the divine and the human together actually happens. It's going to be a little scary at first because sometimes the dream is better than the reality. Sometimes that search is better than finding it because then it's like for the human, what next? But through the ones who allow their realization, you quickly come to realize that the dream wasn't better than the reality. The dream is the reality, and the reality is on many different levels. The ones who initially have this realization, they're going to help you to understand that it's not what you thought it would be. It's not a human thing, like a human shaped or modeled thing. It's very, very different, and it's going to be exciting. And I know some of you, and maybe rightfully so, get a little nauseous thinking, oh my God, just another person out there beating their chest talking about how enlightened or realized they are when they're actually not. It's dysfunctional, it's not real. There'll be some of that, but not much, not much. Because we've eliminated all but about 4.7% of the Makyo in Shambhala. It just doesn't fit in anymore. There's no room for it. There's no more Makyo. Not when realization is so precious to you and so important to you. And not when you realize that, well, some of you think that the clock is ticking. It's time to get this done. The next 3 to 5 years are going to be a beautiful time together. We're going to be doing, I guess, more just energy gatherings, kind of marabs, just get out of the craziness and just allow. Then, and I've told this to the Crimson Circle staff, as dear Linda, who is very deep in thought right now, is knowing.
Very deep in thought. Thank you for noticing.
Deep in thought. Then, and I've asked the Crimson Circle organization to be ready for what comes next. So here you have a group all around the world of thousands now who have allowed their realization, and many more who are like right there. But suddenly that changes the energy of all of the Crimson Circle, and suddenly there is that next wave that comes in, 3 to 5 years, and quite large numbers, again, from all around the world, not attracted by the sensationalism of what's going on, but attracted by the energy. They're not going to know how they got here. They're not going to know much about Crimson Circle, but they're going to feel so attracted to it. They're going to feel attracted to you, to your radiance and light. And then that opens up a whole new phase. Get ready for it. Be prepared for it, is what I've asked the Crimson Circle organization, because then everything changes. But the next 3 to 5 years, it's a time for creating that safe space and allowing. That's it. A lot of it is simply recognizing the wisdom that is here. The wisdom that comes in with the master. I've explained this in some of our gatherings, but I'll review it again here on Linda's beautiful diagram. Each one of these stick figures represents one of your lifetimes. And they go off into the past. There's not just 7. And they go off into the future. All of your lifetimes represented by that stick figure. The I am, you, the master, have chosen this lifetime right here for your integration. Pretty simple stuff. Didn't choose the other lifetimes. It said, this is it, right here, the right time, what I call the time of machines, the right consciousness or balance of consciousness on earth, the right everything. It happens right here. You know you could have done it back here several lifetimes ago, and you didn't. You didn't. Well, that tells me a couple of things. Is the potential's still there, and you decided to wait to now for a lot of reasons. What happens here is that the master, which is basically all of the lifetimes, the wisdom of all the lifetimes, without facts and figures and details, it's just wisdom. That wisdom, that chalice, make this into a cup, a chalice. That chalice holds the wisdom of all the lifetimes, and it flows in right now to this lifetime. From this lifetime, you as the receiver, it then flows into all your other lifetimes sooner or later, but that's not the point. It flows in right now. Right now is so important as our next step is to allow that wisdom to do what it does. It distills. It takes all the junk and the crap and throws it out. Allow it to do that. It could feel uncomfortable at times physically and mentally, but what's happening is it's all being distilled. The wisdom is being brought to the human, to you, from the master. Some would call it the divine. I don't really like that because you think in terms of power. But when I say wisdom, of all the human lifetimes, with the master's empathy, understanding the human journey and its difficulties, the wisdom coming in right now that will keep you from ever going out of balance. You'll feel at times that, oh, I'm going to go out of balance and I got to watch my thoughts. No, that wisdom will prevent that from happening. Or if I don't keep a check on myself, I'm going to do bad things because I've done them before. No, the wisdom does not let you do that. It doesn't let you do bad. You can experiment with it. You could say, okay, then I'm going to go get shit-faced drunk tonight and see if the wisdom keeps me from doing that. You know, it'll probably let you get shit-faced drunk, and then you go, oh, that was, no, never again. Okay, I don't need to do that. Been there, done that, okay. That wisdom comes in, and it's available right now. As a matter of fact, it's nothing that we're trying to bring in. It's here. It's here. Have you noticed lately in your dreams, they've been really weird, going all night, really bizarre, and you wake up almost every morning and say, what was that about? And you, woof, let it go, forget about it. What is happening is even in your sleep state, the wisdom is distilling, and you're feeling that process go on. To you in the human mind, it's a long dream night, and it's frustrating, and it goes on and on. You're just in the blender right now. You're in the pressure cooker, the distiller, and you're just feeling what that's like to have yourself wisdomized. It's, and that's what's happening. Right now, as you sit here, as I'm deliberately distracting you, you're being wisdomized. Everything you did this morning is being put into that wisdom machine and being distilled and wisdomized and given back to you. Everything. Nothing is exempt. Everything you're going to do later today is going to be wisdomized. In other words, what used to happen was that you'd live your human life and go through all your stuff, and then you'd die, and then it would be brought to wisdom, and then maybe a little bit of made available to you the next lifetime. It's happening within you right now. No waiting till the end of your lifetime. No waiting for the future. It's here right now. Everything you've done, all the trauma that you went through, growing up thinking, I'm different, I'm weird. Right now, when we were doing our little Q&A before, it's all being brought to wisdom. It's never before been like this. It's always been experience, wait a long time, get some wisdom. More experience, wait a long time. That's why you've had one lifetime after the other. kind of incremental wisdom, a little bit here in this lifetime, a little bit later. It's all happening right now. That's why sometimes, too, you feel like you're just being, somebody put a rotor-rooter inside your brain and your body, and you're being all, what do you call it, rooted out. That's why sometimes nothing makes sense, because it's all being wisdomized. And it's available to you, everything. This is probably the most important step in what we're doing right now, and the most important process, allowing that wisdom. First of all, recognizing it's here. Secondly, allowing it.